Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com. Time to memory plan. All right, definitely still playing catch up in my memory planner. I am working on the last week of March into April. Got my photos printed out, and I'm just going to use an old Hip Kit Club kit. It's love the bright colors and keep it pretty simple, I think. So I will put you all on fast forward, and oh, look at this one. That's beautiful. Oh, this one might be good. All right, we're going to pull out this. We're going to use this page. All right, let's go. I would definitely say that my memory planning recently feels a little bit closer to scrapbooking than maybe traditional memory planning. I am enjoying using all of these papers. I was newly inspired visiting the Scrapbook Expo, and I just want to use all of the supplies and have a great time. Yes, they are on planner pages, but I don't know that these are necessarily specifically memory planning processes, but I think you can kind of come up with your own system. That's what I like about the memory planner. On some weeks I can be a little more out of the box, and on weeks where I'm just wanting to get the pictures and the stories down, I can map my pictures, put them down, call it a day. So kind of going with whatever feels good right then, which I think is the fun of memory planning. So what I did was I trimmed out those two circles of books, cut it into half circles so I could put it at the bottom of the pages. The reason I chose the books was this particular week was the Scholastic Book Fair at my kiddos' school. And I thought, I love the Scholastic Book Fair. Let me know if you remember going to the book fair when you were little. I volunteered this year, and my boys were so excited to get a chance to go to the book fair. And so even though that's not what all of the pictures are of, I thought that's okay. It'll be a nice little, nod to the book fair for that particular week. I also liked how I could use that open semicircle section that is in white. That is where I'm going to put my journaling. And then the photos are all going to be bursting out from behind these books. And it's, a typical busy week. It was one of the weeks where my boys had been home sick from school. There were soccer tryouts. There was color guard. There were all of the things happening, kind of like what our typical weeks are these days. And so what I did was put the books here at the bottom. I matted all of the photos just on colorful paper from that same collection from the Hip Kit Club. And the plan is to have them kind of bursting out. So you can see securing that to the bottom. Look at all of that white space that I have reserved for journaling. I think that's going to work great when you're planning your memory planning pages or memory planner pages. You want to make sure you are leaving room for where you plan to journal. Not all weeks require a ton of journaling, so you don't have to, have a ton each time, but just keeping in mind where you're going to write down what you want to write is really important as you are kind of setting up your page and planning out the layout. I'm going to use this extra little part that I cut off up here. I know it covers up the month. I'm not really concerned about that because I'm gonna know what month this is just because of where it is within the memory planner. So I don't really need that up there. I thought about putting it over here, but I actually didn't like that it covered the dates. So we'll just go with that corner. And now I have all my photos, just trying to figure out where they can kind of pop off when you're doing your photos kind of wonky like this. It's just important to make sure you're not covering up any parts of the photos that you don't want covered up. So I didn't want to lose faces. I wanted to still be able to tell what was happening in the photos. So I had to kind of play around with it. Plus I had matted the photos a little bit randomly, and I didn't want the same background or the same color next to each other. So I had to kind of shift things around, and then I end up making one final shift once I finally secure on the page. You can see I'm able to slip these easily behind those semicircles. The reason is I didn't put adhesive all the way to the edge, knowing that I would want to be playing with slipping photos in and out and moving them around. So if you want to layer, you need to make sure you allow yourself that ability, and then I can go back after the fact and secure down that book paper a little bit more. But first, getting all of these down. Sometimes it's hard for me to do the wonky photos. It certainly makes more sense in my head to line them up, to have them vertical, but playing with the wonkiness, I think, allows for some interest. As you're going through my memory planner, I like for it to change up. I like for some of the pages to be all lined up, all vertical, and then for other pages to be a little bit more playful. So that just gives it variety as you are flipping through. Now I am still using Tombow permanent adhesive in my memory planner. I just like that it's acid free. I like that it's a strong adhesive. You can use anything you want. I've been buying it in bulk from Michaels online. So I wait until Michaels has a 30% off all regular price purchases. They do that pretty frequently. And then I order online and I order like 10 packages at once. It saves me a little bit of money, usually gets me free shipping. And that's how I've been getting the adhesive and trying to save some money on it. So I buy it in bulk. Of course, I go through a lot, but I just like the Tombow adhesive, but you can use whatever you have in your stash for sure. All right, so these are some leftover stickers that I had that went along with this Hip Kit Club kit. And I'm just kind of, you guys, these are not what these stickers are intended for, but I wanted this explosion feel, like all of these fun shapes. And these are really meant as borders for photos. And I'm just changing it up. We're just putting them kind of shooting out with the photos in all different ways and adding all these fun shapes. And it's kind of repurposing the stickers. One of my goals was to just use the rest of these stickers. I'm about to break up this particular Hip Kit Club kit and kind of store the papers where they belong and the ephemera where it belongs, that kind of thing. And I didn't want to keep these stickers necessarily. There weren't enough to do like a full on spread of the kind of stickers that they were intended to be, which is more framing and borders and stuff like that. I just wanted to play with the colors and shapes because they went so well with what I had on the page. So I'm repurposing them. And when I have them just in mass like this, I think it works. You get the idea of what I was going for. So you can see just kind of fitting them into where they go, cutting off right here. And it adds to the fun feel of the page. I happen to really like creating spring layouts because you guys know that I love the bright colors. So we're going to just, embrace all the bright colors. This one, I had a little trouble figuring out where I was going to use the other part of the sticker. I didn't want to waste it because I loved that teal color. So let's just slip it in right here. These are strong stickers, so pulling them up was no small feat. Trimming off. How cute is that turning out? I love how this page is coming out. I don't really know why I got behind with my memory planner because every time I sit down to work in my memory planner, I super enjoy it. It is fun. It's fun to get those photos printed. I do want to play catch up. I'm afraid that if I try to play catch up too much, that it will feel like an overload. So if I try to do multiple spreads a week, then I will kind of burn myself out on it. So we're just going to kind of play it by ear to see if I can get caught up. I'm about a month behind. I'll get a little bit farther behind when I am on vacation. And of course, then I'll have a ton more pictures to do. So we'll kind of see how it goes. I do like when I'm more current with my memory planner because I feel like my journaling is a little bit better. But if that's not going to work out, I wanted to enjoy the process. And I think that's the whole thing. And I think that's what happens to memory keepers a lot. You get excited about a project for scrapbooking and you maybe do too much or like push yourself to finish something like December daily or, a summer mini album, something like that. And you feel a little burned out. So I want to make sure that I am enjoying the process of working in my memory planner. And if that means that I'm fall a little bit behind, that's okay because it's still making progress towards this goal of documenting stories for my family throughout the year. You all know that I love words on my pages of all kinds. And so I'm actually adding some chipboard. I don't always add chipboard. It does add dimension to your memory planner. And of course, I never get all 12 months of a year in one memory planner. I generally do about 6 months at a time because then it's too bulky and heavy and I'm afraid the pages will start to rip. So I do go ahead and add dimensions sometimes when it calls for it. And I love having all these little word-fetty chipboard pieces. And it, again, brings some consistency to the spread because I ended up finding one that could go with each and every photo, which I love. And when you have repeated elements like that, the spread just feels more cohesive, more pulled together. And you can do that in a variety of ways. I do it with word-fetty pretty frequently. You can do it with repeated colors. You can do it with a repeated sticker like a heart that you use multiple times. There's lots of different ways to do it, but some sort of consistent element that appears multiple times throughout your week-long spread really goes a long way to bringing it all together as a full spread and making it feel a little bit more refined and complete. For this last little bit here, I am using my T ruler to add lines. I always like to add journaling lines because I don't trust myself to write straight. So I add my own journaling lines, and then I'm just going to fill in some journaling for the week, writing about what's happening in the pictures and even some things that happened that particular week that maybe are not in the pictures. Just getting the story down. I have been enjoying writing in kind of this longer format recently, instead of broken up in little segments. So it's nice that memory planning can kind of allow you to change up how you do your journaling. Once I wrap that up, that's going to be it for this memory planning spread. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. Just like always, I will link all of the supplies that I used down in the description box below, so you can be sure to check those out. I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Thank you all so much for being the amazing community that you are. If you want to find out more about Patreon, some of the perks you can receive, and the amazing community that is over there, you can always find more information using the Patreon link in the description box below. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.